Question 1. If you are driving on a freeway and notice your exit ramp is backed up onto the highway shoulder, what should you do? Option A. Force your way into the exit lane at the last possible second from a fast lane. Option B. Stop in the nearest active highway travel lane and wait for an opening. Option C. Go past the exit, proceed to the next exit, and route back safely. Option D. Drive along the right-hand shoulder to bypass the slow traffic. Option C is correct. Go past the exit, proceed to the next exit, and route back safely. Stopping completely in an active freeway travel lane creates a catastrophic rear-end collision hazard for high-speed traffic behind you. If an exit ramp is completely full or blocked, you must safely remain in your travel lane, proceed to the next available exit, and navigate back. Question 2. What does this road sign mean? Option A. You are entering a designated high-speed carpool corridor. Option B. You are on a one-way street that is expanding into multiple lanes. Option C. You are on a two-way street or approaching a two-way traffic zone ahead. Option D. Passing is legal for vehicles traveling in both directions. The correct answer is option C. You are on a two-way street or approaching a two-way traffic zone ahead. This warning sign alerts drivers that the roadway they are traveling on, or about to enter, accommodates two-way traffic moving in opposite directions without a physical median separator, requiring extra caution when passing or turning. Question 3. When a large commercial truck is turning right onto a narrow city street, what maneuver will the driver often make? Option A. Swing wide to the left before turning to clear the right-hand curb. Option B. Stay tightly pressed against the right curb throughout the entire turn. Option C. Speed up significantly to clear the intersection quickly. Option D. Shift into reverse gear midway through the turn to adjust angles. Option A is the correct answer. Swing wide to the left before turning to clear the right-hand curb. Large commercial trucks require a massive turning radius due to their extended wheelbases. To prevent their rear trailer wheels from clipping curbs, light poles, or fire hydrants on the right, the driver must swing wide to the left before completing a right turn. Question 4. What does a solid white line painted along the left-hand edge of a one-way roadway signify? Option A. It marks the legal boundary where parallel parking is free to the public. Option B. It outlines a designated high-speed lane reserved for motorcycles. Option C. It separates traffic traveling in the same direction from a left-hand curb or median. Option D. Overtaking other vehicles on the left side is legally permitted across it. The answer is Option C. It separates traffic traveling in the same direction from a left-hand curb or median. A solid white edge line painted on the far left side of a one-way street or divided highway acts as a visual boundary marker, separating the leftmost active travel lane from the shoulder, curb, or median wall to assist drivers with lane positioning. Question 5. If you are convicted of driving under the influence, DUI, for the first time, what is a standard mandatory penalty? Option A. Immediate and permanent revocation of your citizenship status. Option B. Installation of an ignition interlock device, IID, or license suspension. Option C. A mandatory prison sentence of no less than 5 years. Option D. A requirement to surrender your motor vehicle to the state. Option B is correct. Installation of an ignition interlock device, IID, or license suspension. First-time DUI convictions carry severe legal penalties across all states, typically including a mandatory suspension of driving privileges, steep financial fines, required DUI educational classes, and often the mandated installation of an ignition interlock device, IID. Question 6. What does this road sign mean? Option A. The traffic signals ahead are broken and operate as a stop sign. Option B. Red light camera systems are actively monitoring the next intersection. Option C. You have entered a high-speed highway intersection safety corridor. Option D. A traffic signal-controlled intersection is approaching. Prepare to slow down. The correct option is D. A traffic signal-controlled intersection is approaching. Prepare to slow down. This is an advance warning sign. It alerts drivers that an intersection controlled by a traffic signal is located just around a curve or over a hill ahead, giving them adequate time to reduce speed and prepare for a potential red light. Question 7. When parking your vehicle on a sloping hill without a curb, which way should you turn your wheels? Option A. Turn your wheels sharply away from the edge of the road, left. Option B. Keep your wheels pointed perfectly straight, parallel to the road. Option C. Turn your wheels toward the edge of the road, right. Option D. Wheel direction does not matter on hills as long as the car is in park. Option C is the right answer. Turn your wheels toward the edge of the road, right. When parking on a hill without a curb, whether facing uphill or downhill, you must turn your front wheels toward the right edge or shoulder of the road. If your parking brake fails, this ensures the rolling vehicle rolls harmlessly off the pavement rather than into live traffic. Question 8. What does a flashing yellow arrow traffic light over a designated left turn lane mean? Option A. Oncoming traffic has stopped completely, and you have a protected turn. Option B. You must come to a complete stop and wait for a solid green circle. Option C. Left turns are permitted, but they are unprotected. Yield to oncoming traffic. Option D. The turn lane is closed for maintenance work ahead. Correct answer. Option C. Left turns are permitted, but they are unprotected. Yield to oncoming traffic. A flashing yellow arrow indicates an unprotected left turn. You are permitted to execute the left turn, but you do not have right-of-way priority. You must yield to all oncoming traffic moving straight or turning right, as well as pedestrians in the crosswalk. Question 9. Under what condition are you allowed to use your high-beam headlights within city limits? Option A. Whenever you are driving in a school zone during early morning hours. Option B. On poorly lit streets, provided no oncoming or led vehicles are nearby. Option C. Anytime you want to force oncoming drivers to yield the right-of-way. Option D. High beams are strictly illegal inside all metropolitan city boundaries. Option B is the correct answer. On poorly lit streets, provided no oncoming or lead vehicles are nearby. You may use your high-beam headlights on unlit or dark city streets when necessary for safety, provided you dim them to low beams within 500 feet of an approaching oncoming vehicle or within 300 feet when following directly behind another vehicle. Question 10. What does this road sign mean? Option A. A temporary detour route marker for high-speed highway traffic. Option B. A slow-moving vehicle that travels at a speed of 25 miles per hour or less. Option C. A regulatory sign indicating a hazardous material transport route. Option D. An emergency vehicle staging zone indicator. The correct answer is option B. A slow-moving vehicle that travels at a speed of 25 miles per hour or less. This is the official slow-moving vehicle (SMV) emblem. By law, it must be prominently mounted on the rear of farm tractors, construction equipment, horse-drawn carriages, and other machinery designed to travel at speeds of 25 miles per hour or less. Question 11. When two vehicles arrive at a T intersection at the same time, who must yield the right-of-way? Option A. The driver on the through road must yield to the driver on the terminating road. Option B. The driver turning right must yield to the driver turning left. Option C. Whichever vehicle is larger or heavier automatically takes priority. Option D. The driver on the terminating road, the road that ends, must yield to the through road. Option D is correct. The driver on the terminating road, the road that ends, must yield to the through road. At an uncontrolled T intersection, the road you are traveling on ends. Drivers traveling on the terminating road must come to a stop and yield the right-of-way to all vehicles and pedestrians moving along the continuous through street before turning. Question 12. What does a vertical, white rectangular sign displaying the text, "Center lane only," and two opposing curved arrows mean? Option A. The lane is a high-speed passing lane for vehicles moving in both directions. Option B. The center lane is reserved exclusively for vehicles making left turns from either direction. Option C. The road is split into two separate one-way streets ahead. Option D. Left turns are strictly prohibited along this entire stretch of road. The answer is Option B. The center lane is reserved exclusively for vehicles making left turns from either direction. This sign identifies a center two-way left turn lane. It provides a safe, dedicated space in the middle of the roadway for drivers traveling in either direction to wait for a gap in traffic to complete left turns without blocking flowing lanes. Question 13. If a pedestrian enters a crosswalk after the don't walk or raised hand signal begins flashing, what should a driver do? Option A. Honk your horn to warn them and maintain your speed to teach a lesson. Option B. Drive around them closely to avoid slowing down the flow of traffic. Option C. Wait until the pedestrian has safely crossed the street before moving. Option D. Flash your high beams and accelerate to clear the crosswalk area. Option C is the correct answer. Wait until the pedestrian has safely crossed the street before moving. Even if a pedestrian illegally steps into a crosswalk against a flashing "Don't Walk" signal, drivers are legally required to exercise due care, yield the right-of-way, and wait until the pedestrian clears the roadway safely before proceeding. Question 14. What does a solid yellow line painted next to a broken yellow line down the center of a road mean? Option A. Passing is prohibited for vehicles on both sides of the roadway. Option B. The road is a designated one-way street with no passing zones. Option C. Passing is permitted only for the side next to the solid yellow line. Option D. Passing is permitted only for the side next to the broken yellow line. The correct option is D. Passing is permitted only for the side next to the broken yellow line. A solid yellow line alongside a broken yellow line indicates a selective passing zone. Drivers traveling on the side adjacent to the broken yellow line may cross into the oncoming lane to pass when clear, while traffic on the solid line side is strictly prohibited from passing. Question 15. What is the safest course of action if your vehicle's hood suddenly flies open while driving at high speed? Option A. Slam on the brakes instantly to stop the car in the middle of the lane. Option B. Look through the gap under the hood or out the side window, slow down, and pull over. Option C. Steer blindly toward the right shoulder while accelerating to clear traffic. Option D. Open your driver's side door to guide your steering along the white line. Option B is correct. Look through the gap under the hood or out the side window, slow down, and pull over. If your hood latches fail at high speed, maintain your composure. Look through the narrow gap underneath the open hood or out your driver's side window to maintain lane positioning. Ease off the accelerator, signal properly, and pull safely onto the shoulder. Question 16. What does this road sign mean? Option A. A sharp, right-angle turn is ahead. Reduce your speed significantly. Option B. A designated high-speed highway exit ramp begins immediately. Option C. You are entering a loop-style roundabout traffic circle ahead. Option D. The road ahead merges into a one-way street moving right. The correct answer is Option A. A sharp, right-angle turn is ahead. Reduce your speed significantly. This warning sign alerts drivers that the road ahead makes an abrupt, sharp 90-degree turn. Motorists must reduce their speed well below the standard posted speed limit before entering the turn to maintain control and avoid skidding off the road. Question 17. Under standard DMV guidelines, what should you do when you are being tailgated by another vehicle? Option A. Tap your brakes rapidly to flash your lights and frustrate the tailgater. Option B. Turn on your hazard lights and stay exactly in your current lane. Option C. Speed up significantly to increase the distance between your vehicles. Option D. Slow down gradually or merge right to allow the tailgater to pass you safely. Option D is the correct answer. Slow down gradually or merge right to allow the tailgater to pass you safely. To minimize the risk of a rear-end collision, never brake check or engage in aggressive driving. Gradually reduce your speed to encourage the tailgating driver to pass, or move safely into a right-hand lane to allow them to go around you. Question 18. What does this road sign mean? Option A. Public parking is permitted during regular daytime business hours. Option B. Key drop-off boxes are located along the side of the road. Option C. No parking is allowed at any time in this designated zone. Option D. Vehicles without an ignition key system are prohibited. Correct choice. Option C. No parking is allowed at any time in this designated zone. A red circle with a diagonal slash is the universal symbol for prohibition. When combined with the capital letter P, representing parking, it serves as a regulatory sign indicating that parking is strictly illegal in that designated area. Question 19. When approaching a construction zone where a worker is holding a handheld stop paddle, what is the law? Option A. You must follow the worker's instructions, which override standard signs. Option B. You may bypass the worker if you do not see any active heavy machinery. Option C. You should stop only if you are driving a large commercial truck. Option D. The worker's signals are advisory only. Follow the traffic lights instead. Option A is correct. You must follow the worker's instructions, which override standard signs. Flaggers, highway construction personnel, and police officers directing traffic carry legal authority. Their hand signals and paddles take precedence over all permanent traffic signs, road markings, or automated signal lights in the work zone. Question 20. What does a solid white line painted across an intersection lane, a limit line, represent? Option A. The boundary line marking a designated mid-block bicycle lane. Option B. A parking restriction line indicating no stopping is allowed. Option C. A guideline indicating where vehicles should accelerate into turns. Option D. The exact legal point behind which you must stop for a stop sign or red light. The answer is Option D. The exact legal point behind which you must stop for a stop sign or red light. Officially known as a limit line or stop line, this solid white pavement marking identifies the exact legal boundary where your vehicle's front bumper must come to a complete, full stop when responding to a stop sign, flashing red light, or solid red signal. How many did you answer correctly? Share your score in the comments and see how you compare with other learners preparing for the written exam. If this quiz helped you feel more confident about your DMV permit test, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more DMV practice tests, road sign quizzes, and driving test preparation videos. Keep practicing, stay focused, and you'll be well on your way to passing your DMV permit test. Good luck!